Apple opened its first store in Malaysia, the Apple Store Malaysia. It's this beautiful pyramid building. Such a nice store, and it was a big opening. Samsung had an interesting response. This is what Samsung did. Well, first of all, here's how Apple tried to stop Samsung. Apple made a deal with the management of the train stations in Malaysia. And this deal banned other phone brands from advertising their products in these train stations. They could open shops, but they can't advertise outside of their shops. So other phone brands, they can open shops in these train stations, but because of Apple's deal, they can't advertise outside of their shops. But Samsung, it discovered a loophole. And what's so crazy is the station that was nearest to the new Apple Store, it was owned by a different corporation, and thus legally, it was a separate entity. So Samsung paid that management to sponsor the station. Samsung bought out all the advertising in that station, and even crazier, Samsung renamed the station the Samsung Galaxy Station. This is real. This is crazy. And this isn't the first time that Samsung targeted Apple either. A few months ago, Apple released this ad called Crush, where it took all of these beautiful objects, beautiful instruments, pieces of technology, pieces of culture, and crushed them in a huge hydraulic press. And this ad, you may have seen it, it got so much backlash. Boy, oh boy, people hated Apple for this. And Samsung was quick to respond. Samsung released an ad of their own. The ad was called Uncrush, and it starts with this woman walking through the destroyed objects from Apple's hydraulic press. The ruined instruments are on the floor. It's this sad scene. The woman, she picks up a guitar that's made it, and she starts singing. And there's the tagline, creativity cannot be crushed. This episode of the podcast is about comparing corporate marketing to low-cost, obtainable marketing, especially for people and companies without huge budgets. I just described the Samsung Galaxy train station story. I made a video about this for Instagram Reels and TikTok. This video has over 6 million views across both platforms. It's a story that people really like. But I think the lesson from this is go where your competitors are. Samsung, there's two lessons. Be bold and go where the competitors are. But I'm going to talk just about going where the competitors are. Because when I heard this, my mind immediately went to competitor keywords. And a very common tactic that people will do is they will bid on competitor brand names. So somebody searches on Google a competitor to your company, and you are bidding on their name so that your company shows up on Google above theirs. This is a pretty common tactic. But what's not so common is going after keywords with the word alternative. It's something that a lot more companies should do because it's not that hard to rank for these keywords. Rank for these keywords, doing it on Google, doing SEO. So for example, somebody searches for an alternative to one of your competitors. You want to show up. And the language that people put into Google is they will put the name of the product plus the word alternative or alternatives. And so what you do is you make a page specifically called your competitor name and then the word alternative. You take that keyword, let's say your competitor is Hotjar. Take Hotjar alternative, put it in your page title, put it in your meta description, put it in your H1, your top header, put it in your URL slug, and put it at the beginning of the first sentence of the page. Create a hub page for it in your footer called alternatives where you do this for lots of different competitors. You want to be there in the mix when somebody is looking for an alternative to your competitors. And then you make a page saying specifically how you are better than that competitor. This is a great SEO tactic. These keywords tend to not be that difficult and they're bottom of funnel. People are directly looking for alternatives that are better. You can address what they are thinking. With these people who are looking for alternatives, you can address what they're thinking right there on the page and say, you know what? You're thinking this is the reason why you're looking for an alternative, and you're right to be thinking that. We are the better choice for reasons X, Y, and Z. This is free to do. You put up this page, you submit it to Google Search Console. You could submit this page to directories, but if you're doing existing marketing for your brand, your domain authority is going to increase anyway, and it's going to help this page rank. This is a low-cost, no-cost way to be seen in front of competitors. Similarly, people, to go to the Apple Store in Malaysia. They are walking through this train station past all of Samsung's advertising. Also important, sometimes when people search for a brand name, these alternative SEO landing pages show up. Low cost or no cost. All right, next one. And I made a video about this. Actually, I made videos about all these corporate marketing things, which is why I know a good amount about each of them. And I know that they're interesting. They're gonna be fascinating. I have 2 more on this episode. This next one is great. The video I made about this has over 10 million views across Instagram Reels and TikTok, and it is Burger King's Moldy Whopper campaign. The lesson here is authenticity. Burger King took their iconic Whopper and they filmed it with a time lapse, just leaving it out for over a month. We see it decompose and it gets all moldy because there's no artificial preservatives. And artificial preservatives in burgers and fast food, this is a common criticism of fast food. Burger King addressed this and showed, hey, we're the real thing. Look how moldy our Whoppers get. They even put up big billboards about this everywhere. And here's what happened. Did this boost sales? So first of all, they put a lot of advertising money behind this. The last reported number was 8.4 billion impressions. And did it boost sales? It boosted sales by 14%. People felt that Burger King was the healthiest fast food because Burger King pointed this out. Now, there's probably lots of other fast foods where if you leave the burger out for a month, it's going to break down. It's going to get all moldy and nasty. But because Burger King showed this, because Burger King pointed this out, people are like, oh yeah, Burger King is the healthiest choice. And this continues to go viral a lot. In the comments for my video about this, lots of people are saying that they want Burger King now or they want a Whopper. And this immediately reminded me of authenticity, and it reminded me of doing marketing with build in public content. Build in public, it means to talk about what you are building, to show the successes, but also to show the failures. A lot of the time, most of what we have are failures. We are using those failures to learn and then get life-changing successes. And it could take a lot of failures, and then you have one success and it makes up by far for all of those failures. But it takes a lot of failures to get there. And a lot of people are afraid to share the failures. They think it makes them look weak. It makes them look stupid. It makes them look dumb. But in fact, lots of people want to learn from their failures too, and it makes them look authentic. Something that you can do for no money. Actually, just the other day, I think this was yesterday or the day before, it's a build in public Instagram that I follow. This guy sells amazing 3D printed tech objects. I'm going to tell you who this person is. I'll give him a shout out. His name is Brandon O. Wang, BrandinOWang. He did a launch for one of his products, but he made a mistake with this 3PL. And he made a video breaking down the mistake that he made, how he learned from it, and how he's going to do better next time. Basically, the 3PL, I think they thought everything was sold out because he didn't connect reporting properly. And so he does this launch and no one can buy his product. And it takes him a good amount of time to realize this and to fix it. And so he does this launch and he misses out on a ton of sales. And I really like that video and I like the authenticity. It also reminded me, I have a launch coming up for compact keywords. I was making compact keywords for, I think, 6 or 7 hours today. I made 2 lessons for it. It is crazy. Each lesson takes me minimum 3 hours to make because I am putting just a lot of thought into each lesson to make sure that all the information is on point and really useful. And it is a way bigger product than I originally anticipated. So I have this launch coming, and around 2 months from now, hopefully sooner, I've been pre-selling it actually, which is amazing. Thank you to everyone who's bought early copies so far. But I watched this and I said, for my launch, I need to check everything multiple times. And I need to put in the tedious work to make sure that everything is right so that when I start doing big launches and when I go viral, and I will make videos that make it go viral. When that happens, I am ready. Because the worst thing is what happened to this person. You have an amazing launch, but then no one can buy the product because of some issue. And I really, really want to avoid that. And so that's what this content did for me. I watched this and I appreciated the authenticity. And I continue to follow this person. Honestly, if I wasn't traveling so much, I would buy one of his products, but I have so little room. I can't take anything with me. My suitcase is always stuffed when I leave one place to go to another. But he still makes this amazing 3D printing, build in public content where he learns and shares what he learns. Actually, another person who's doing build in public and does it very well, it's this guy, Dagobert Renouf. You might know who he is. His handle on X is DAGORENOUF. His description, I spent 5 years and $100,000 to bootstrap a startup and failed. Now I'm starting from scratch again. Memes and thoughts about the journey. So I follow this guy for his build in public content. And he released a course on how to grow on X. His course has made $95,000 so far. He made a post about that. I want to grow on X, but I didn't buy it, mainly because I don't have time to focus on X. However, one of my very close friends, he is focused on growing on X, and I made him buy it, and he did buy it, and he's loving it. He's loving this course from Dagobert Renouf, says it's a great course, and I'm recommending it here on the podcast. But I follow him because of his authenticity and his build in public content. Shares failures. Last one, and this one, now that we're on the topic of failures, this is a huge marketing fail from Fiji Water. My videos about this has 5 million views on Instagram Reels and TikTok. Fiji Water took shots at the humble people of Cleveland, Ohio. And I've been to Cleveland. Those people are nice. They are humble, they are nice, they are hardworking, and Fiji took shots at them. Fiji ran a campaign, and they had this printed all over the labels of their bottles of water. The campaign said, "The label says Fiji because it's not bottled in Cleveland." What an insult, tearing down the good people of Cleveland. And the city of Cleveland was offended by this, so they did some tests. Here's what they found when they compared Cleveland tap water to Fiji water. The tap water in Cleveland was found to be cleaner, tastier, and thousands of times less expensive than Fiji water. In fact, Fiji water had 6.3 micrograms of arsenic per liter. Cleveland had none. Turns out bottled water is in many ways less regulated than tap water, but we drink it because of the convenience and because of the marketing, but not in this case with Fiji, because this story went viral and continues to go viral. And this was years ago. Fiji is still big for sure, but this definitely made them look bad, continues to do so, and definitely hurt them. The comments on my videos about this are brutal. And here's what this made me think of. You know how much money it costs to be nice in your marketing? To be authentic, to be nice? Costs $0. Costs $0. Costs $0 to be nice in your marketing. And instead of tearing people down, lift people up. Fiji water is considered to be high-end bottled water. They're taking shots at the good people of Cleveland. Come on. So the example that came to mind is a bodybuilder that I follow, and his name is Noel Diesel, or maybe it's Diesel. His handle is NOELDEYZEL_bodybuilder. He has 5.7 million followers on Instagram, many millions on TikTok, and he is huge. Physically, he is huge. He also has a huge following, but physically, he is huge. And you know what content he makes? He's this really nice guy. He makes content about getting over phone addictions, about positive self-esteem, about being nice to friends, about breathing when stressed out, never tears people down. He's always trying to make people feel good, especially people who are small. Seems like a really benevolent person. And this is in all of his videos, very authentic. And people love this. I love this. The one difference, and this brings us back to Samsung's jab at Apple. The one difference is, and it's nuanced, but it is more okay to make jabs at incumbents or just really big companies only if public opinion on them seems to be waning. For example, lots of people like to hate on Apple. Apple is a competitor of Samsung, but this was also a friendly jab. It wasn't super mean-spirited. But the general rule is the bigger you get, the nicer you should be, especially if you want to be protected. Especially if you want to make it harder for people to take you down when you do something wrong, because everyone does things that are wrong. Everyone messes up sometimes. And if you're nice and if you're humble, it's going to be harder for public opinion to turn negative against you just because you mess up. But for Fiji, well, they were not nice and they targeted the humble people. And so people love to hate on them for that. And really, the comments, there was so much hate on Fiji in the comments for this video. All right, 3 corporate marketing campaigns and the low cost, obtainable alternatives that people can do. That's all for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. This is episode 433 of my daily digital marketing podcast. Do this thing every day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.